This is Kicker News.
Today on Kicker News, local businesses are helping residents think green. The end of COVID restrictions mean people are getting back to pre-pandemic routines. And Kicker's Sarah Lewis looks into the stray cat crisis in the province. These stories, plus weather and sports, are coming up on Kicker News. Hello and welcome to Kicker News. I'm your host, Sarah Danny Strickland. Our top story today, gas prices across the province increased by 2 cents last night, while diesel has gone up by almost 15 cents in the last 2 days. The prices at the pumps have drivers concerned about their fuel consumption. Kicker's Saqib Ibn Rashid Rivu caught up with Steel Honda technician Jody Warren to see how drivers can achieve better fuel economy.
It used to take up gas max 55, and right now that same van will take at least $80 for the same run.
Every liter of gas counts nowadays. Muhammad M.A. Chaudhry, who is the supervisor at Momo Cars, an Amazon delivery company, was talking about one of his vehicles. The van recently started to consume more fuel than before. Jody Warren is a certified technician and the production manager at Steel Honda. He believes people can properly maintain their car to fight high gas price.
If you've got a tire that's going low on air, it will create a roll resistance, it'll create a pull, and will actually increase your fuel consumption more than you think. If your car is not in good alignment, it's going to have an increased rolling resistance, and it's really going to play havoc on your fuel consumption. Your engine relies on fuel and air in the proper mix to run efficiently. When your air filter is plugged, it's going to suck more fuel.
Chaudhry says he also suggests his drivers to adopt efficient driving style.
They have one driver, he drives smoothly, and there's another guy who just wants to go from point A to point B as quick as possible. Just give the time in, use the throttle as less as you can if it's not needed.
Warren then shows some basic self-maintenance.
When you look underneath your hood, you'll usually see a series of tubes, and at the end of the tube there's always a square box, and inside this square box is your air filter. So just open your driver's door, look right here.
He pointed at the label on the metal frame. The label says the optimum tire pressure for that vehicle. Having proper tire pressure may reduce the frequency of gas station trips instantly. Saqib Ibn Rashid Rivu, Kicker News, St. John's.
The increased cost of living is making it difficult to put food on the table for some. I spoke to 2 Mount Pearl women who are taking matters into their own hands to help the community. Chantel Keene runs a food pantry outside her home on Whitley Drive in Mount Pearl. Keene has been running the pantry since October. Since then, the demand has been keeping her busy every day.
I'm usually out there 3-4 times a day trying to top off the pantry with a few things.
Keene stocks everything from canned goods to school snacks for kids. She receives donations from the community and even those who have used her pantry before.
They come running, and I've had people drop off a box or 2 of things, and I've seen families who have utilized our pantry, and then a couple of days later they're donating what they can.
Despite support from the community, Keene says it's hard to keep up with the demand since the price of living has increased.
It is hard. It is definitely hard. Basically, it boils down to we need, lower cost of food. I mean, the bills have gone up. So things that we take for granted every day, it is very difficult for families.
Keene isn't the only one struggling to keep up with community pantries. Cindy Hall runs multiple pantries in Mount Pearl. Hall stocks community care kits filled with hygiene products throughout the city. Now, she's stocking more food in her pantries to keep up with the demand.
The demand has been really kind of insane, and it's really sad to see. Every time I check the boxes, they're usually empty.
Hall says the increased cost of gas, food, and housing is responsible for the increased use in her pantries.
The combination of all of them is a lot on one person. And if you're debating whether or not to pay your heat bill versus the extra box of Kraft dinner, you're going to pay your heat bill.
Keene and Hall say that in order to keep up with the demand, community support is essential.
I think everybody needs to be doing something. It doesn't fall to just one person. That's just never going to work.
Sarah Danny Strickland, Kicker News, Mount Pearl. Spring is officially here and tourism season is just around the corner. But the province has recorded 87 COVID deaths as of yesterday. Arlette Lazarenko spoke with local business owners about how they're feeling with COVID restrictions being lifted and what they're expecting for come home year.
Soft music is playing in the Murray Premises Hotel tea room. The tables are clean and inviting, but empty this morning. Soon the place will be packed with travelers. With most COVID restrictions being lifted, 2022 is said to be a come-home year, and this bed and breakfast hotel is preparing. Dawn Ring is the new manager of the Murray Premises Hotel, and she shares her excitements and worries.
It's exciting for sure. Really looking forward to seeing more people, especially travelers, come through. Been a couple of years of locals, thankfully, have kept their doors open for the past couple of years, but it'll be really nice to see travelers from all over coming to visit. Staffing is a big one that I'm worried about for the summer. So we're starting to look now, which is much earlier than normally. I just hope that and find enough good people that are passionate about the industry. It's a wonderful industry, and there's really great people, and you meet great people.
Barry Rogers is the president and owner of Iceberg Quest Ocean Tours, Inc., and he shares his perspective of the upcoming tourism season.
We've been finding since even late last year to January and February of this year, our online bookings are very, very solid for this upcoming season.
What are you most looking forward to?
Well, getting back on the water and, seeing folks on the way come here by the thousands, hopefully. But certainly, car rentals has always been an issue, for a number of years here, the lack of, I should say. And airlines, trying to get back on track. There's challenges every year. There's no 2 years that are alike. But the onus, of course, too, goes back and defaults back to a lot of business owners to, really ramp up their game.
Challenges aside, it's safe to say businesses across the province are preparing to see a lot of new faces.
Winds, only a small chance of snowfall. Tomorrow will warm up just the slightest, with a high of 1 and lower levels of wind, although 3 to 7 centimeters of snow expected in the evening. Saturday gets a high of 4, but there will be more snow and ice, so be careful underfoot. Sunday is much of the same, with a high of 4 and rain all day. This has been Christina Whalen with your weather. Back to you, Danny.
Thanks, Christina. Mental health has been a common topic throughout the pandemic. After 2 years, many people are struggling to return to their old activities and routines. Kicker's Zach Green has the story.
Mental health and wellness have been greatly affected since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Megan Andrews is someone who's felt these effects and says the pandemic has taken a large toll on her.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, it was kind of nice because I was just going into my first year of university and my life was kind of hectic, doing all these extracurriculars and stuff like that. However, after months and months and months and delays of reopening of some of the things that I used to love doing, I just got very used to, staying at home all the time. I went from an extreme busy schedule to doing almost nothing at all.
Andrews has diagnosed anxiety and is a member of both a concert band and her church band. She explained that restrictions lifting has left her feeling much more anxious about returning to what was her normal life.
It was like all of these things that once never caused me a problem were all of a sudden a problem. I had gotten so used to being at home and finding my new rhythm. I had to remember how to live my life according to my schedule.
Dawn Langdon, her previous bandmaster at her church, said she isn't alone with these feelings.
Well, I think some are still a little bit nervous about coming back, but it's getting there. It's a slow process. There's some people that will never come back to church, and there are some band members that probably won't come back as well, and coming back to a large crowd again.
Dawn also explained that, though it's slow, people are coming back to band and other activities.
Yeah, people are getting used to it, and I think it's a mindset now that they've been restricted for so long that it's going to take a little while for them to readjust their thinking and say, okay, everything's okay.
For Kicker News, I'm Zach Green.
In the NHL, Mark Giordano makes his Maple Leafs debut last night with a 3-2 win against the New Jersey Devils. And the Canucks beat Colorado 3-1. Tonight, the Canucks take on the Minnesota Wild, while the Panthers are in Montreal to face the Habs. In the NBA, Cleveland is in Toronto to take on the Raptors, and the Raptors currently sit a game behind the Cavaliers in the Western Conference. In Major League Baseball, Kevin Gausman was set to make his Blue Jays debut in spring training this afternoon, but that game has been canceled due to a rain delay. The Blue Jays signed Gausman to a 5-year deal in December. The right-hander earned a 14-6 record for the San Francisco Giants last year. With the MLB lockout over, the regular season is set to begin on April 7th and 8th. Opening day for the Jays will take place on the 8th against Marcus Semien and the Texas Rangers. Semien, who hit 45 home runs for the Jays last season, will return to Rogers Center after signing a 7-year deal with Texas. That's your Kicker Sports. In other news, many are finding it difficult to be eco-friendly. Kicker's Christina Whalen caught up with some local businesses who are making it easier for residents.
They're cheap and easy, but leave a harmful, long-lasting impact. Some businesses take it upon themselves to lessen their footprint. I spoke with Katrina Taliana, manager at the Bee's Knees, and Peter Burt, co-founder of Newfoundland Salt Company, about their eco-friendliness. The Bee's Knees was opened in 2017.
So the Bee's Knees is kind of like seeing the waste and like the excess that can be present in retail and trying to minimize that.
Newfoundland Salt Company was started with a question in 2017.
Like, why don't we have sea salt? We have lots of water.
Both have seen the interest in eco-friendliness increase over the years.
People want to buy products with social consciousness attached to it.
And seeing how people don't realize there are other options.
But they come in the store and they see like a beeswax food wrap, and they never knew about it before. They'd never heard of it, and they will ask us about it or we'll tell them about it. It will change their ideas of like what they're using in their kitchen simply through a single product.
Taliana says there are small ways they can reduce waste every day.
Step by step, walk through your house, walk through your everyday, and take note of like what you're using and what you're like. Maybe your plastic mask you're wearing to and from the store, you know, you can get a reusable one, or like, I don't know, plastic Ziploc bags you throw your lunch in, put it in a reusable one that you can wash and reuse and reuse and reuse, right? Maybe instead of, if you're able to, instead of like driving the 5 minutes to the store, go out for a walk, you know, just the little steps that like can really be impactful. So
Bert mentions how it can help in the long run.
Even though there is more like a dollar value to it in cost sometimes and a lot more effort to figure out how to do it, it is beneficial in the long run.
Overall, they saw the need to reduce waste and the impact we all have on the environment. They encourage people to take those little steps and make a change. Christina Whalen, Kicker News, St. John's, the impact we all have on the environment.
St. John's curbside recycling collectors are impressed by the efforts of residents in the city. Kicker's Gurwinder Kaur finds out what residents need to know about the do's and don'ts of recycling.
Curbside recycling started on October 2010. At the time, it was not mandatory to use different bags. But in January 2021, City Council of St. John's approved sanitation bylaw where it became mandatory. Recycling is collecting used stuff and turning it into a new product. Blue garbage bags are for recyclables and clear ones for the paper. But what happened to the trash once it left the home? Curbside is responsible for collecting trash in St. John's. Shelley Purday, Work Division Supervisor in Curbside, says.
Once we pick up everyone in your area, the truck at the end of the day goes to our materials recovery facility.
Uptake from the residents of St. John's is very positive.
We're so impressed and pleased that the citizens of St. John's are using clear bags, and they listened to the mandatory recycling and they're doing it. So we're very happy with that.
MMSB Multi-Materials Stewardship Board are responsible for tar collection as well as Used Beverage Collection, Jackie O'Brien, Senior Marketing and Communication Officer, says that they accept
various types. It could be glass, it could be plastic, Tetra, Gable, anything from a juice box to a wine bottle.
Brian says, keep recycling.
When you're outside of the home, people tend to have it down pat at home. But say, when you go to that gas station, it's sometimes easier to just throw it in the garbage bin rather than take it home and recycle it. I think we lose a lot of beverage containers sometimes out in the community.
Gurvinder Kaur, St. John's, Kicker News.
And now a song called Easy by applied music student Sally Holloway.
My name's Sally Holloway, and today I'll be singing Easy by Mark Ayers.
Oh, you heard what they say. Oh, the more things change, the more they say the same. Ain't that a shame? I've been good for some time. I'd be lying if I said that you ain't on my mind. Just trying to give it some time. I'm feeling like I'm running away. I never had the chance to say. I can say that loving you is easy. I don't need to prove a single thing. Somewhere along the way, I guess you got under my skin, and I put all my cards out on the table. You ain't never gonna show your hand. I would rather hold you close than try to understand. Morning sun, morning high. Oh, I think this haze is for now my best disguise. No need to think about why. What you say, starry-eyed. How you love to smile and watch the clouds reside. Just trying to give it some time. I'm feeling like I'm running away. I never had the chance to say. And I can say that loving you is easy. I don't need to prove a single thing. Somewhere along the way, I guess you got under my skin, and I put all my cards out on the table. You ain't never gonna show your hands, and I would rather hold you close than try to understand. And I can say that loving you is easy. I don't need to prove a single thing. And somewhere along the way, I guess you got under my skin, and I put all my cards out on the table. You don't ever gonna show your hand. I would rather hold you close and try to
Newfoundland is no stranger to stray cats. All over the province, you can find entire colonies of them. While some of those colonies are known and maintained by rescue centers, there are many that have yet to be found, leaving them to breed and grow further. Kicker Sarah Lewis spoke to an independent rescue in St. John's to see what they do to help.
St. John's has become a hub for stray cats, with many rescue groups being constantly overwhelmed by the growing population. One local woman, Amber Brown, has made it her mission to rescue as many of these animals as possible.
My organization focuses mainly on feral cats and community cats. They're not socialized to humans, so they're born and raised outside, but they're still producing and making more kittens. So we try to sterilize them and stop that from happening.
Brown started her organization, Amber Safe Haven for Cats, roughly a year ago and rescues around 20 feral cats per month.
I do this as volunteer work. I work a full-time job as well, doing animal care.
The spring and summer months are what's known as kitten season. More kittens are born during this period than any other time of year, putting a huge strain on rescue organizations.
There's a lot of cats who are going to be born sick and with upper respiratory infections and different diseases that are just spread throughout the community. We always end up losing some during kitten season, no matter how much we put into it.
2 weeks ago, student Jillian O'Rourke was driving through Kitty with her friend when they came across a kitten alone and scared.
The cat came over and tried to jump in the car.
O'Rourke called several shelters in the area to see if anyone was available to help.
Nobody was open to take the cat.
Instead of just letting the kitten fend for itself, O'Rourke and her friend took it to the emergency vet.
They had said that the cat was severely malnourished, hasn't eaten in probably weeks. So I ended up taking it home. My mom just fell in love.
O'Rourke and her mother decided to give it a couple of days. They waited to see if anyone would claim the tiny kitten, and when no one did, they picked out a name and welcomed him home.
His name is Kitty, like Quidi. His best friend is a 170-pound German Shepherd.
Brown says that this community effort is how stray and feral cats are saved.
You don't have to be an organization to go out and help an animal in need.
Sarah Lewis, Kicker News, St. John's.
That's our show today. You can find us anytime online at www.kickercna.ca. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.